Hey, welcome to the lab. Welcome in the new lab. I had to change it up a little bit, get some table action going, got a little bit of shrubbery. Listen, it's been about a year since I've been certified. Thank you. It's been a long time coming. Thank you very much. My whole career, I've been focused on getting certified. Everything I've done, my ITPs talk about the pursuit of certification. The workshops talk about pursuit of certification. The mentors, the observations, the study groups, everything I've been doing has been working to this goal of certification. But what happens afterwards? What happens when you've accomplished that goal? Are you done? I thought that would be it. I thought I went through the hard part. Sadly mistaken. There is a complete different life when you become from non-certified to certified as an interpreter. And there are several things I've learned going through that transition. I'm gonna share it with you today. But before I do that, I need to set it up. Let me set this up for you, okay? Life before becoming a certified interpreter. When you aren't certified, the opportunities to interpret are just limited, right? You can find different agencies, different people, different deaf people who give you an opportunity. You can find all that, especially in the pro bono field. You can definitely do that. But the opportunities are just generally more limited because you're not certified. The trainings, all the trainings that you go to, all of them speak directly to you. Because most of them are saying this is for interpreters who are pursuing certification. This is for interpreters to increase their skill. And then we say, okay, I increase the skill so I can become a better interpreter so I can get certified. Everything goes back to certification. Another thing that you have when you're not certified, you got that escape card. Always do. Let's say it's a deaf person that say, hey, I really want you to interpret this event for me. I want you to come to my appointment, interpret for me and all that stuff. You could just say, if you really don't want to, you be like, I would want to, but I don't want to cause harm. I'm not certified. Stuff like that. You can kind of hide behind that if you really wanted to, because you're not certified, and rightfully so. And then when you're not certified, you have to prove yourself a lot more often, which is not a bad thing, especially now that I am certified and I'm seeing how it goes. It's not a bad thing to have to prove yourself because it gives you the confidence that like, hey, y'all checked what I have to give and you've approved of it. It gives you that confidence. When you're not certified, you have to go through that. Now, compared to when you are certified, the opportunity, the jobs, all that, the floodgates just open. I'm telling you, everything just opens. It all comes to you. It rushes to you. It could be overwhelming kind of because really anything that you see, you automatically can assume you qualify for. Now, I'm not telling you that means you can interpret any assignment. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is the one prerequisite generally that all the assignments want is that certification. So once you have that, you are eligible for pretty much any assignment you see. Then you got to figure out, do you actually want to do that or can you qualify for it? Another thing, after you're certified, you're expected to be great. You are. Everybody you observed when you were pursuing certification, they were certified interpreters and you were looking at them, like all their sign choices, asking them questions and all that stuff. Well, now it's your turn. You're expected to be that model. There are way more eyes on you because everybody's looking at you. All those ITP students, there's so many more eyes on you, so much more attention to detail that you need. And then lastly, I would say you have to know business. When you become certified, in my experience, that's when the interpreting profession really kicks in. See, before certification, I would say you're more of just the interpreter, where you have to know the language, you have to know how to advocate, you have to know how to make sure you're clear, all that stuff. But then when you get certified, now you are in the profession because now you have agencies, entities, business people. You have them who don't know nothing about interpreting, but they're chasing after you because you have that NIC. Going through that transition, there are several lessons that I've learned. And I think it's important to make sure I put this out there because I haven't found too many people talking about what do you do after you get certified. They just talk about how to get certified. First, I learned that the NIC is not the top. The NIC is the minimum level of competency needed to be an interpreter. The minimum, not the max, the minimum. And that was eye-opening for me. I thought when I got certified, that means I'm good to go. I mean, shoot, I'm certified. I thought that's what it means. But no, because the day you take that certification test, you're the same interpreter the day before, the same interpreter the day afterwards. That test is one moment in time. That's it. It's just testing your skill set in that binary. Now, also, people have testing anxieties and there are other factors that can influence it, but it's right there, a snapshot of your life, right there. Before that test, if you could not interpret supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, if you couldn't interpret that, after the test, you think automatically now you can interpret that? No, it don't work like that. You're the same person. It's just you have a credential. You got some letters behind your name. So the way I equated it is like, you know those Mario games? The old-fashioned, I'm sure nowadays it's kind of changed, but the old-fashioned Mario games where essentially you go through like the first world, right? The first world, you go from world 1, level 1. So it'll be 1-1, right? And then you go through all those, let's say it's like 10 boards in that one world. All right, when you beat that, let's say all 10 of those boards inside world 1, that's pre-certification, all right? When you go to world 2, you are no longer the king of world 1 and now you're the king of world 2. No, you start back at the bottom. You go back to world 2, level 1 again. It's a whole new playing field. You're still taking all the skills, all the stuff that you learned from world 1. You still have that, but you're not top dog over here. It's a whole new playing field. And that's important to learn because, again, it's the minimum competency. The NIC used to actually have a couple levels to it where you could be NIC, you could be NIC master. If you were to test and become NIC master, that is something where you can try to have an argument to say, okay, I can automatically start on top of world 2 because you're master level. But that's no longer, it's just NIC. So because of that, you don't assume, that's big-headed, that's audacious of a person to just assume now that I'm certified, I'm good to go. I know how to interpret everything. Trust me, you don't. Trust me, you won't. And trust me, you still will feel as if like, goodness gracious, am I even certified? Goodness gracious, like, shoot, I still need to study. I still need to do this. I still need to do that. That's because you will never be the best at sign language. You will never be the best interpreter. It just won't happen. And I don't really get how people can grow such an ego and such a sense of themselves in this profession because nothing that we do is for us. Everything that we do is for the communities that we serve. Now, it's important to have pride in your work. It's important to be like, I know I can do this, to be confident. But to be egotistical, to think that you can't do any wrong, or to go so far as to start correcting deaf people on how to sign because it's like, no, that's the wrong sign. I do this sign. Stuff like that is like, I don't know where you get the gall to think like that. You'll never be the best in sign language. It's not your language. It's your second language. You'll never be the best. Don't even worry about that, okay? So you won't be the best signer. You'll never be the best interpreter. There are so many different kinds of needs out there. And there are so many different kinds of clients out there. One person would mesh so much with another person, but that doesn't mean that they'll mesh the same level with everybody else. You can't be the best. You won't be the best. So why you walking around like your crap don't stink? Because you think you're the best. That's dumb. You're going to get put on your face like that. Again, NIC is the minimum skill needed to interpret. The next thing I learned is that your ethics and your discernment have to multiply by 1,000 now. You're certified now. The reason it has to multiply so much is because before you get certified, you can try to be as overzealous as you want. I was definitely not victim, but I did that. It was sometimes I was overzealous and I got knocked down for sure. But even I can be as ambitious as I want. There's a certain threshold that I hit just because the world is saying you're not certified. So there's just certain doors I just couldn't even walk into. That even if I wanted to interpret, I couldn't, right? Once you get certified, oh, the world is like, you're certified, go. They don't ask no other questions. You're certified? Go ahead, go. Go interpret that. Go do this, go do that, go here, go here. Now you have to know what your skill set is. Now you have to know what your weaknesses are. Now you have to know where you draw your boundaries. You have to know that because you're certified now. No one's going to do it for you. No one's going to stop you. And I even go as far as say, if you don't know this stuff, you mess around with these business people, the people that don't know nothing about deaf culture, don't know nothing about interpreting, don't know nothing about sign language. You keep messing around with them without good ethics, without good discernment. You're going to be put on some freaking TED Talk talking about quadratic formulas and you ain't ready about it. You ain't ready for it. And no one's going to stop you. No one's going to save you neither. And everybody's expecting you to do the best job there is because you're certified. You have to make sure that you have sound ethics, morals, values, skill set, discernment, and you can advocate for yourself to say, I cannot do this. I can do this. I need prep for this. I'm ready to do this, but you have to be able, you have to know business because in this world, there's no hand holding. There really is no blockade. Again, the floodgates, they're open. So now you got to be able to do that for yourself. The last thing I would say, I don't want to mess this up. That's what I'm trying to pause to say it. What is it? Dang. Oh, with great power comes great responsibility. Now you're certified. Those developing interpreters, those emerging interpreters, those non-certified interpreters who are pursuing certification, they're looking at you as a subject matter expert. So because they're looking at you as an SME, now you have an opportunity. Do not shy away from it. You have an opportunity. Scratch that. You have an obligation to make sure that all the wrongs and the aches and the pains that are unnecessary, all of those, you have an obligation to make sure that the next person does not go through that. And now you have been assumed this power because you're certified. Don't squander it. If you get approached by some mentees, some interns, some ITP students, if you get approached by an interpreter who's like, hey, you're certified, or can I observe you, or they're asking you some questions, make that an opportunity to say, I don't like what I went through. Let me tell you a better way. Let me tell you the right way. Let me tell you how to avoid some of these things. And they're going to listen. You have what they want. You have to give back. That's the only way we're going to be able to stop this horizontal violence. Listen, in my ITP, I wasted a whole 2 weeks on a module talking about horizontal violence. And for those who don't know, that's basically peer-to-peer harassment, okay? It could just be just them degrading each other, tearing each other down, all that stuff. I had to write an essay. I had to read some articles, all this stuff, because somebody don't want to do the right thing and be nice. Now, I got to write an essay and all that crap. That's another story. Basically, the point is you have an obligation to make better this field for yourself, for that person, for other interpreters, for the deaf community, for the hearing people, and for the world in general. Congratulations, you did it. Now, I did want to make sure I talked about one other aspect, because there are a lot of interpreters who are out there who are not certified, but they are qualified, okay? And there's a big debate on that, qualified versus certified. Let me tell you my opinion on this, okay? To my qualified interpreters who are not certified, I would say, get certified. It's a hard test. The test goes, everybody got their own opinions about how the test could be unfair and all that stuff. I know that. And a lot of people don't want to be certified through RID because of how messed up that agency is, and don't nobody want to deal with that. So I want to make a new system that's better, that actually serves the people it's supposed to serve. I get that idea and I agree with it. But my perspective on it is, how you hating from outside the club? You can't even get in. And that's exactly true in this situation. Like, if you do not like the certification process, the agency, whatever, if you don't like it, I feel, go through it, prove to the decision makers, prove to them that I can do this, prove to them that this doesn't serve anybody. Let me show you. I've done your test. I've surpassed all your qualifications. And now when you do that, you have a lot more respect in their eyes, where now you can start to make some changes and decisions. But if you never get to that point where you have the credential that they hold reverence to, if you never get to that point, what's going to happen is they're not going to listen to you. They're going to feel like you're only hating on it because you can't do it. And that's not true. We all know the qualified interpreters. We all know, they can go down. I'm telling, the best interpreters that we can see could be non-certified interpreters, but they only listen to the certified interpreters. So why you have so much energy, you have so much fight in you, you have so many great ideas, why not hunker down and say, this system is so BS. Let me do this crap so y'all can give me a fair shot and listen to me, and then change the system. That's how I feel about it. But hey, you tell me what you think. Y'all came into the lab. Appreciate y'all. Now go ahead and have a good day. Hey.